partially eternal, full of knowledge and beautiful also. The captivated conditioned souls under the influence of the external energy, Maya, are therefore entrapped in the network of the material nature. They accept this as all in all, for they have no information of the Lord, who is the primeval cause, nor have the information that the parts and parcels of the body, being detached from the whole body, are no longer the same hand or legs as when attached to the body. Similarly, a godless civilization detached from the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is just like a detached hand or leg. According to the Vedic version, the Lord is naturally fully powerful, and thus his supreme energies are always perfect and identical with him. Both the spiritual and the material skies and their paraphernalia are emanations of the internal and external energies of the Lord. The external energy is comparatively inferior, whereas the internal potency is superior. The superior energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical. But the external energy, being inert, is partially identical. But both the energies are neither equal to nor greater than the Lord, who is the generator of all energies. Such energies are always under his control, exactly as electrical energy, however powerful it may be, is always under the control of the engineer. The human being and all other living beings are products of his internal energies. Thus, the living being is also identical with the Lord, but he is never equal or superior to the personality of Godhead. The Lord and living beings are all individual persons. With the help of the material energies, the living beings are also creating something, but none of their creations are equal or superior to the creations of the Lord. The human being may create a small, playful Sputnik and may throw it into outer space, but that does not mean that he can create a planet like the Earth or Moon and float it in the air as the Lord does. Men with a poor fund of knowledge claim to be equal to the Lord. They are never equal to the Lord. This is never to be. The human being, after attaining complete perfection, may achieve a large percentage of the qualities of the Lord, say up to 78%. But it is never possible to surpass the Lord or to become equal with him. In a diseased condition, only the foolish being claims to be one with the Lord and thus becomes misled by the illusory energy. The misguided living beings therefore must accept the supremacy of the Lord and agree to render loving service to him. For this they have been created. Without this, there cannot be any peace or tranquility in the world. Srila Vyasadeva is advised by Sri Narada to expand this idea in the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita also, the same idea is explained. Surrender fully unto the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the only business of the perfect human being. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, yet another verse, a beautiful verse of Bhagavatam. And this is coming in course of the discussion between Narada Muni and Vedavyas. We've been seeing some of the really very potent and wonderful verses being discussed by Narada Muni and Vedavyas. This is also often quoted by Prabhupada, at least the first line. We'll see this verse and understand this verse and see how we can apply it in our lives. So the verse, it says, so this verse is not the right verse. I don't have that. Doesn't matter. I'll show this. So this verse actually says, Idam hi viswam bhagavan ivetaro yato jagat sthana nirodha sambhava tadhi swayam veda bhavams tathapite pradesha matram bhavatah darshitam. Now, forget about the word meaning and translation. We will see that if you just analyze looking at the verse yourself, you can see that the meaning of the verse comes out very easily just by looking at the verse and trying to understand what this verse is talking. And this is spoken by Narada Muni. So he's telling idam, he. Wherever the word he is used, that means certainly. Idam hi viswam bhagavan iva. Iva means like. So Bhagavan, the Lord, this idam viswam, this creation, this cosmos, idam viswam, he Bhagavan iva. So certainly this cosmos is like the Lord, or it is non-different from the Lord. Idam hi viswam bhagava. Itaraha yato jagat sthana nirodha sambhava. Why the Lord is equal to the material world, the cosmos? Because he's telling yataha jagat, this manifest, this jagat, this universe, sthana, it rests. Nirodha, annihilation. And sambhava, creation. So behind the creation, annihilation, and the resting or the maintenance lies the Lord. So that's why he is non-different from Viswam. Idam hi Viswam Bhagavan iva itaraha yato jagat sthana nirodha sambhava tadhi swayam veda bhavams tathapite. And oh Vyasadeva, this is known to you. This thing is not known to ordinary people who are covered by this external energy of the Lord, who are influenced by the material energy, the external energy which covers the intelligence. They don't know about it. But oh dear Vyasadeva, you know about this. Tadhi swayam veda. Veda is to know yourself, your good self. Tathapite pradesha matram. This is just a synopsis. I'm just telling you in a brief, in a very one-line way. Tathapite pradesha matram bhavatah pradarshitam. So I'm telling you the synopsis that the Lord is not different from this cosmic manifestation, from this Vishwam, because the sthana, jagat sthana nirodha sambhava, because he is the resting place. From him the creation happens, and in him the annihilation enters into. And this is known to you, tadhi swayam veda bhavams tathapite pradesha matram. This is just a synopsis. Bhavatah pradarshitam. You expand this in this Bhagavatam. You explain this in the Bhagavatam. Oh Vedavyas, please explain this in Bhagavatam. This is what the verse says. The Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is himself this cosmos. Idam hi viswam Bhagavan. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead is himself this cosmos, and still he's aloof from it. Iva itaraha, he's different. Even though he's the same, he's different. And this is a very important aspect of understanding who the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though the cosmos is coming out from him and he's non-different from it, yet he's different. He's aloof from it. From him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated, sambhava. In him it rests, sthana. And unto him it enters after annihilation, nirodha. So your good self knows all about this. Swayam Veda, Tad Swayam Veda Bhavams Tathapi. Your good self, you know about all this. I have given only a synopsis. Pradesha Matra. I've just given a synopsis. So this is the wonderful verse that we have today. And let us just try to understand some things which Prabhupada is telling here. There are many wonderful points in the purport which Prabhupada is talking about The first one being, for a pure devotee, the conception of Mukunda, Lord Shri Krishna, is both personal and impersonal. The impersonal cosmic situation is also Mukunda because it is the emanation of the energy of Mukunda. And then Prabhupada says, for example, is actually referring to two examples. One is the example that he gives of the trees and the tree which has got leaves and branches. Sometimes a person, when he's touching the leaves of the tree or the branches of the tree, he says, I'm touching the tree. Grammatically correct sentence. Even theoretically, it is correct. I'm touching the tree. But then the leaves and the branches, even though they are part of the tree, they are separate. Very beautifully Prabhupada about that. What he says is that where is it? The Vedic version that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman means that since everything is emanating from the Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from him. Similarly, there is the example of the tree. So the example which Prabhupada is, for example, a tree is a complete unit, whereas the leaves and the branches of the tree are emanated parts and parcels of the tree. The leaves and branches of the tree are also the tree, but the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. So these are very important thing to understand. I mean, we see that there is a tree and somebody can say that the branches and the leaves of the tree are the same as the tree. But Prabhupada is saying, even though that is right, the branches and the leaves of the trees are the tree, but the tree itself, the tree per se, the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. So the Vedic version that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman means that since everything is emanating from the Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from him. And the other example which Prabhupada gives here is the human body, the hands and legs. Hands and legs are part of the body. I can say my hand is my body. When somebody touches me, why are you touching my body? Theoretically correct. But at the same time, the body is not just hands and legs. Hands and legs are parts of the body. So like that, this cosmic creation that we see around us is coming out of the Lord. But yet the Lord is not the cosmic manifestation or this cosmos or this creation. He is aloof from it. Now, there are so many wonderful points which Prabhupada is mentioning in this verse, very beautiful points. Let us try to understand them in the limited time that we have. First thing I wanted to share with you is that actually there are three kinds of people in this world. Imagine, you are looking from a small window, tiny window, what is there outside? Your vision is restricted based on how much you are able to see, but that is the perception that you get of the world. And there are three kinds of people, or there are three different personalities or schools of thought which prevail in this material world about the creation, about what is happening in this material world. The first class of people are called the atheistic people, the atheistic understanding. What is the atheistic understanding? The atheistic understanding is, you see that there is the sun which is rising on the sky every day, almost at the same time, from the same direction, from the east. There are seasons which change. There are trees which, become laden with flowers and fruits in a particular period of time. People are born and they die. Everything seems to be happening automatically. Where is the question of the Lord? Where is your Lord in this picture? The seasons happen, they change automatically. The sun rises and sets automatically. There are people who are taking birth and they're dying also automatically. So how, when all these things are happening automatically, where is the question of the Lord? And their goal is basically, as long as we have our lives, as long as we are there in this material world, enjoy the matter. enjoy to the best of your extent, to the best of your ability. Because once the body is burnt and it has become ashes, where is the question of enjoyment? Where is the question of enjoyment? What is the refutation? Actually, these things have to be very clearly understood from Bhagavad Gita. These are not some theory that we are discussing. These are all about our own lives. These are life around us. This is about the creation that we are part of. And what is this creation all about? Why this such wonderful creation? Prabhupada says this is coming out of the Lord. So it is partially, there is some beauty, there is some kind of eternity, there is some kind of knowledge in this. Cognition is there because it is Lord's emanation. Very beautifully Prabhupada and Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. That's why these words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita are so powerful. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumi Rapo Anala Vayuhu Kham Manobuddhirevacha Ahankara Itiyamme Bhinna Prakriti Rashtadha. Bhumi Rapo Anala Vayuhu Kham Manobuddhirevacha Ahankara Itiyamme Bhinna Prakriti Ashtadha. Ashtadha means 8. These 8 elements that you're seeing, Bhumi, this earth, Apo is water, Anala is fire, Bhumi Rapo Anala, Vayu, wind, Bhumi Rapo Anala Vayu, Kham is the sky or ether. All these things that you're seeing. And then Manabuddhir Ahankar, this mind, intelligence, and false ego. These 8 things are my separated energies. Bhinna Prakriti Rashtadha. These energies are emanating from me, but they are separated from me. Krishna says that Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, O son of Kunti, Maya Dhyakshena, by my direction, the material nature is acting automatically, as if it is put into an auto mode. Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. These things have to be very clearly understood. There are many people who get into this kind of an understanding that there is no God in control. There is nothing. There is nobody who's behind all these things, and it is all happening automatically by default. But the Lord in Bhagavad Gita reveals that these are all His external, separated, manifested energies, which we call it as Mother Nature, and we see that there is so much of balance. There is so much of, there is so much of orderliness, and we feel that as if this is happening automatically and there is no Lord in control. Very interestingly, actually, there is the second understanding, which is the impersonalist understanding. Impersonalist understanding is the extreme. One extreme, you say that there is no Lord. There is no one who's behind this creation. There is no controller. There is no creator. And the other thing is this whole world is Vishwam. This whole world is Brahman. Sarvam idam khalu Brahman. Everything is Brahman. This creation is Brahman. The creator who is created, he is also Brahman. Maybe in the conditional states, there is a difference between the worshipper and the worshipped. But once the worshipper achieves that state of perfection, there is no difference between worshipper and worshipped. Everything is same. Everything is Brahman. Right now, because of the covering potency of the Lord, because of the illusion, I'm accepting this matter, which is temporary, as real. But actually, this is illusory. Everything is that one Brahman. I can achieve the state of the worshipped by performing this kind of austerities and understanding that I'm not this matter, and this matter is the illusory covering, and this illusory covering needs to be removed. This is the impersonal understanding, where they want to become that, and that is Brahman. I'm told there is a story, it's a funny story which I have heard. I don't know how many of you have heard this also. There was one impersonalist master and had some disciples, and he told that everything is Brahman, and this person, Sarvam idam khalu Brahman. So this disciple of this master went out to test this himself. So he went to a street, and he saw that from the opposite side there is an elephant which was coming, and there was a mohant who was sitting on that elephant, and he was walking towards this person. So this person said, Sarvam idam khalu Brahman. So this elephant is Brahman, I am also Brahman, there is no difference. And he stood there on the way. And the Mohand is repeatedly telling, get out of this path, go away. Don't stand there, it is dangerous. This person didn't care. And then what happened was the elephant came and crushed him. His leg was fractured and some limbs were injured, and also he goes to his teacher. Somehow he survives. And he goes to his teacher and he says, oh my master, you told me Sarvam idam khalu Brahman. So I thought, the elephant is Brahman and I was not moving. And then that impersonalist master, he says, oh fool, why didn't you realize that if the elephant is Brahman, the Mohand is also Brahman, and that Brahman was telling, move away. Why didn't you listen to him? So this kind of understanding, the elephant is Brahman, the Mohand is Brahman, the road is Brahman, the person is Brahman, everything is Brahman. Only in the state of illusion, one thinks that all these material things are real, but these are all illusion. When that state of knowledge one achieves, that state of perfection one achieves, then all this illusion gets dispelled and one becomes that. So that's why they say, Aham Narayana, right? So I'm only that Narayana. I can become that. Other extreme. One side, they don't say, the karmis or the atheistic people, they say that there is no God, there is no controller, and this whole material world is meant for my enjoyment. And then there is another side where they say everything is Brahman, and this material world, material creation that you are seeing is all Maya, it's illusory. And we should not, and I should go beyond this illusion so that I become Brahman, I become that. What is the devotee understanding? Devotee understanding is a very different understanding. Devotee understanding is anything that is coming out of the Lord is not illusion, it's real, it's factual. And there are the Lord, when he comes with all his variegated energies, all multifarious energies. And that energy of the Lord, whatever that manifestation is, whether it is internal energy or external energy, when it is used in Krishna's service, that material energy transforms into internal energy. Because the Lord is energetic, because the Lord is the creator. So the energy or the creation needs to be used in his service. But I don't see any creator, one can say. I have never seen a creator. How do I believe? How do I understand this? And this is very beautifully explained in Bhagavad Gita, in this verse, which I'm sure all of you will be knowing. This verse comes in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This verse says that how there is this invisible Lord who's there in the form of a thread. And normally people cannot see, like this beautiful necklace. This beautiful pearl necklace that you are seeing on the picture is so wonderful to look at. Somebody can appreciate the beauty, the texture, or the carvings, all these things one can appreciate, that it is so beautiful, so nicely it is made. But what we forget to realize is that there is an invisible thread which is holding it together. Actually, this is a very beautiful verse, and this is a very beautiful explanation of Bhagavad Gita, because the Lord is giving this example himself. And the verse comes in the 7th chapter only, 7th chapter, 7th verse. And it says, Mattah parataram na anyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. Sutre maniganaiva. So like the pearls which is holding together, like the pearls are strung on a thread. Similarly, O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjaya, Mattah Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. There is no truth which is superior to me. There is nothing which is superior to me. Everything rests on me as pearls strung on a thread. Very beautiful verse, very, very beautiful verse. So, unfortunately, the understanding that we have in this life is all from our materialistic upbringing, from the society that we are part of, from the schools and the colleges and the universities that we go. And we have developed certain understanding. Either it could be like a karmi who just wants to enjoy the matter, and the more one wants to enjoy the matter, the more one gets entrapped, the more one gets entangled. Or the other thing is, everything is Maya. Just get rid of it. Just don't get engaged in this. Everything is Maya. And I should just neti, I should just get rid of all these things and come to a state where I become that Brahman. But actually, the understanding which is given in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, unfortunately, there is a large portion of Vedas or the Vedanta Sutras or the Upanishads are not available to general populace, not available. But very important to realize and remember is that that the essence of all Vedic knowledge is available in the form of Bhagavad Gita, which is also popularly known as Gita Upanishad. And as we all know that famous example where Lord Krishna, he's milking the cow of these Upanishads, and Arjuna drank the milk thus obtained, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And if Arjuna found time to hear Bhagavad Gita in the middle of a battlefield at Kurukshetra, then what urgent business is stopping us from hearing the Gita? So when the knowledge of the Gita, it spreads, then easily, everyone will be they'll be able to attain that platform of that yoga, that platform of the supreme understanding. And actually that is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in 2nd chapter, he urges that esate abhita sankhye buddhir yoge to imam shunu. Buddhi yoga, he uses this word. Buddhir yoge to imam shunu. Buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyas. And I have described to you this so many things, analytical study. Now listen as I explain in terms of working without fruitive results. And when you act in this Buddhi yoga, this is the real yoga. When you use your intelligence, then you can free yourself from the bondage of words. And then he goes on to say, Neha vikramana sosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate moktovaya. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. And even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the dangerous type of fear. So the real yoga is not some gymnastics or some hatha yoga that we do. The real yoga is the yoga of devotional service, which brings about the direct perception of the Supreme Lord. Direct perception of the Supreme. Who's the Supreme Lord? When the devotee meets the Lord face to face after liberation, then all this bodily concept of life, that I am so and so, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a child, I'm a son, I'm a daughter, I'm a Telugu person, I'm a Oriya person, I'm a Tamil person, or all this bodily identifications vanishes. The only thing that prevails at that time is actually I am the servant and servant of the Lord. This is my real identity. So the hands and legs, that example is given, if they are cut off from the body, that hand and leg, it loses its value. It doesn't have any value. That is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Mamaivamsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Mamaivamsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Eternally we are part and parcel of the Lord. Forgetting our eternal nature or eternal position, mana shasthani indriyani prakritisthani kasate. With our 5 senses and mind, we are thinking we are the enjoyer of this material nature. We are working hard to enjoy, very hard, this way, that way. Even though we are getting defeated, frustrated, getting kicks from material nature, yet we don't give up on that. Prakriti sthani karsati. Karsati is a very painful existence, yet we are doing that. So that is why this Buddhi Yoga is a very important thing, which actually enlightens one person to come to his original consciousness, to establish his relationship with the Lord, to establish his relationship with that supreme Brahman or the super consciousness. Now, so I spoke about this verse, which is called the necklace verse. I want to also tell you 2 more verses in Bhagavad Gita. If you see in 15th chapter, the last 2 verses, 19th and 20th verse. The last verse, 15th chapter, is a small chapter. Actually, these are not just to be seen as some chapters and some verses just quoted. No, you see the title of the chapter, it's called Purushottama Yoga. So the Lord is talking about himself in 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, the yoga or the process or the linking process by which I can develop a relationship with the Supreme Lord. Very interestingly, if you see the last verse of 15th chapter, it is one of the smallest chapters. 12th chapter also has 20 verses, and 15th chapter also has 20 verses. But in terms of the length of the verses, 15th chapter is slightly longer. Very interestingly, in the last verse, Krishna says, Iti Guhyatamam Sastram Idam Uktam Mayanagaha Etad Buddhva Buddhiman Sat Kritakritascha Bharata Kritakrityascha Bharata. Iti Guhyatamam Sastram. This is the most confidential knowledge. Iti Guhyatamam Sastram Idam Uktam Mayanagaha. This is spoken by me. Idam Uktam. This is in passive voice. This is spoken by me. Anagha. Oh, sinless one. Because you are the sinless one, I am sharing this. This is the most confidential knowledge. Iti Guhyatamam Sastram Idam Uktam Mayanaka Etad Buddhva Buddhiman Syat Kritakritascha Bharata. Once a person surrenders, whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. This is what Krishna says in the 15th chapter, the last verse, 20th verse. The translation of that, actually Krishna says, this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture, so sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. Whoever knows this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. This is Krishna's assurance. So what is it that he has spoken? I just went in the reverse order. I spoke the 20th verse. Now, if you see the 19th verse, very interestingly, Krishna says, Yomam evam asammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. So whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yomam evam asammudho, without doubt, Yomam evam asammudho janati, one who knows me without doubt as Purushottama, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the knower of everything. Sa sarvavet bhajati mam, he is sarvavet, one who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the personality aspect who's behind this creation. Prabhupada gives the example of electric energy, whether the electric energy is used for heating or for cooling purposes. Doesn't matter. It is always under the control of the engineer who is controlling that. How powerful that energy might be, still it is under the control of that engineer. Similarly, this entire creation, whether it is matter or spiritual, whether it is external energy or internal energy, it is all under the control. It is all under the supervision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one who knows this. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is the knower of everything. Sarvavid. And then if he becomes the knower of everything, then what happens? Bhajati mam. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me. He therefore engages me in full devotional service. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. So he becomes sarvavid. Sarvavid. Bhajati mam. He engages in devotional service. How? Sarva bhavena bharata. In all possible ways. Actually, this science, this knowledge is called the most confidential. Iti sarva gushyatamam is the most confidential part of the Vedic literatures. It is revealed. Look at the sad, ironic state of ours. We have the access to this knowledge, yet we don't put extra efforts. We are so lazy and caught up in our material world that we don't want to come out. We don't want to come out of that materialistic conception of life where we think that I am the enjoyer and I can enjoy the way I think, the way everybody else is trying. Unfortunately, nobody is successful in this. There is this impersonal energy of the Lord in the form of Kala separates us all. It is just a temporary arrangement where family members come together. And Bhagavatam gives the example like straws which are getting carried away by some wave. They come together, they live together, and again in another wave they get dispersed. Similarly, all of us, we come together. This is my father, this is my mother, this is my brother, this is my children. And this material world is my field where I can enjoy as much as I want. And we want to stay together. We want to live together. We want to enjoy together. But unfortunately, as the time, in due course of time, one by one, we fall apart. And again, in due course of time, we are all lost. And then again, in another family, we enter. This is the cycle of birth and death. Punarapi janama, punarapi maranam. So that is why Krishna is telling that Bharata bhajati mam. So knowing, understanding that the Lord is there behind, there is nothing in this world which is beyond the Lord. Everything is Lord's manifestation. So imagine if you have a garden and you are growing some fruits and flowers. So that means you are the owner of that fruit and flowers. If somebody comes and plucks those fruits and flowers and says, I am the owner, I want to enjoy this, that's not right. Similarly, everything, when this material energy, even that external energy of the Lord, which the impersonalists say the Maya, and they want to avoid that, if it is used in Krishna's service, it becomes internal energy. This is the Vaishnava understanding. Prabhupada gives the example of a purse which is lying in a road. There are three possibilities. One comes there and he sees, he looks to the left, he looks to the right, and then he looks up and down everywhere and he sees that there is no one around. And he picks up the purse, thinks that not the Lord, whatever it is my destiny to get this. I have got this, let me enjoy with that. That is one kind of a person. The second kind of a person who comes, he thinks that, oh, this is money. This is Maya. I should not be using this. This is not good for me. And he throws it. Or he avoids even seeing that I have seen. He ignores that. And the third kind of a person is, he finds the purse, he sees whose purse is that, is there any card, is there a person, can I find the real owner and can I give it back to him? This is the Vaishnava understanding. He is picking up the purse, but he's not using it for his own cause, for his own enjoyment. He is finding who's the person and he is using that, he's returning it to him. There's a gulf of difference. Though picking up thing is the same as it is picked up by the first person also, but the use is different. That makes all the difference. Sarva bhavena bhajati mam. So one engages in devotional service in all possible ways. That is what Krishna says. So that is what our Goswamis, our Acharyas are telling, are urging, are repeatedly telling us that when you have got this human form of life, then you should surrender completely to the lotus feet of Lord. Completely surrender. And that's the verse which is given in Nectar of Devotion, which talks about the 6 kinds of surrender, 6 principles of surrender. How do we do this? Anukulyesya sankalpa, pratikulyesya varjana. Rakshasi iti vishwasa, goptrutve varnam datha. Atma nikshepa karpanye sadvidha saranagati. Anukulyesya sankalpa, pratikulyesya varjanam. The 6 divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things which are favorable to devotional service. Be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in a favorable way. If some activity that I am doing is going to enhance my devotional service, is going to increase my getting engaged in devotional service, I must do it. Not do something which is pratikulyasya varjanam, the rejection of unfavorable things. Maybe I have to travel for some big money to a place which is far off from the temple, or being an association of devotees, or getting an opportunity to be engaged in devotional service. Pratikulyasya varjanam, give it up. And the conviction that Krishna will give protection. There is nobody else in this world who can give us protection. This principle is again and again explained in Bhagavatam in various ways. Only protection can come from the Supreme Lord himself. That Krishna will give protection. Acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master. Full surrender and humility. So actually the relationship between the Lord and his devotee is very intimate. So that is why everything about the devotee is known to the Lord. So the devotee has no separate interest that would involve him in some speculative knowledge or fruitive activities or sense pleasures or lamentation and meditation and so on. He simply engages in full time in serving the Supreme Personality of God. And his consciousness thus becomes purified of all contamination. And the fire of conditioned life is put out. When everything is engaged in Krishna's service, the fire of conditioned life is put out. This duality, this illusion is eradicated from this heart. And his devotion to Lord Krishna, it becomes very resolute, very, it's a focused, single-minded. And he throws himself at the Lord's lotus feet, feeling like a sold-out animal. This is very nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. And the next verse, these are the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. And then in the next verse, Krishna says, Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nasayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhaswata. Very, very beautiful verse. So when somebody, Tesham satata yuktanam, when somebody is engaging in devotional service continuously, constantly, Sarva Bhavena Bharata, in all possible ways. So when he is doing Tesam Satata Yuktanam, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, I give the intelligence. What kind of intelligence? Yenamam Upayantite, how you can come back to me. Tesam Satata Yuktanam, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, with love. Those who are constantly devoted to me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And to show them special mercy, the same me who is dwelling in their hearts as Paramatma, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Tesham evanukampartham, out of mercy. Aham ajnanajam tamaha, I remove that ajnanajam tamaha, the darkness of ignorance I remove from the heart. Nasayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhaswata. With the torch of knowledge, with the lamp of knowledge, I destroy this with the shining lamp of knowledge. I destroy the darkness born of ignorance. So these are very, very important principles which are revealed in Bhagavad Gita. As I said, this is the most confidential knowledge. Unfortunately, we don't pay attention to this. Unfortunately, we don't take advantage of this. This is available to us. And this is what Narada Muni is telling, that, oh, Vedavyas, you know, right? You know that this cosmic manifestation is coming from the Lord. I'm just giving a synopsis. Why don't you explain about it? Pradarshitam, why don't you expand it in the form of Bhagavatam? And the Bhagavatam is all about that. There are countless examples, countless places where Bhagavatam is talking about how the Lord is behind all this creation, yet he's aloof, he's untouched, he's uncontaminated by this material world. One verse in, there are so many verses, one verse which comes in Brahma Samhita, very interesting verse. Of course, we all know that Ishwaraha Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karana. Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishna. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, Ishwaraha Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karana. He is the supreme Godhead, Govinda, and he has an eternal blissful body, Sachidananda Vigraha. And he is the origin of all. He is Sarva Karana Karana, Anadir. Means there is no, he is the beginningless. There is no, he is the original person. Anadir, Adir. And he has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. There is another verse which comes in Bhagavad Gita, in Brahma Samhita, very interesting verse, which I thought I'll share with all of you. It is this verse, the Brahma Samhita verses, Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marud Dishascha Kalas Tathatma Manasiti Jagat Trayani Yashmad Bhavanti Bhivavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Similar thing, this is Brahma praying to Lord Krishna as Govinda, and he's telling Agnir, Agni means fire, Mahi is earth, Gaganam is sky, Agnir Mahi Gaganam, Ambu is water, Marud is the air, Dishas is the direction. Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marud Dishascha, Kala is time. Tatha Atma is soul. Manasi is mind. So these 9 elements, Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marud Disascha, Kalas Tathatma Manasiti Jagat Trayani. The 3 worlds, the upper planetary system, the middle planetary system, and the lower planetary systems. The 3 worlds are composed of these 9 elements. Visually, the fire, earth, ether, water, air, direction, time, and mind. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda from whom they originate. Yasmad bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yamcha. From that Govinda they originate, they exist. Bhavanti vibhavanti. They come from the Lord, they remain there, they exist there, and into whom they enter at the time of the universal cataclysm. Govinda Madipurusham Tamaham Bhajana. Concept which this verse that we were seeing today is explaining. So before we close our time together, I can go on talking about this. There are so many other wonderful verses. There is a verse in Ishopanishad also which talks about the similar mood. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhud vijanatah tatra ko moha ka soka ekatvam anupashyatah. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual parts, mind you, all living entities, not just human beings, as spiritual parts. In quality, one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So like that, there are countless examples which talk about this. But Prabhupada also gives the example of iron on fire. Iron may be, like all of us, currently being under the influence of the external energy of the Lord, we do not understand the supreme nature of the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord or our own self. But when we engage in devotional service, like the iron which comes under the contact of fire, behave like fire. It becomes fire-like. Similarly, when we engage in devotional service of the Lord, our inebrities, all the contaminations get cleansed of our heart, and we also become transcendental. We act in a spiritual manner. Before I close, I thought I'll share this one very interesting story, which if you have been to Dwarka anytime, we would hear this. And this story is spoken by almost every pujari there in the Dwarkadish temple. Very interesting story. I like this story a lot. So Dwarkadish, the Lord Krishna, who's situated in Dwarka, because there was a constant attack by Jarasandha for so many times, and the Lord shifted his base from Mathura to Dwarka. So he was situated there. The same Lord Dwarkadish is there in the temple. Is a self-manifested deity. So this Dwarkadish was standing and he's always smiling. If you see the smiling face of the Lord, he's always smiling. There's a reason for the Lord's smile. And this, pujaris, these priests in Dwarkadish temple, they share this story. Once there used to be a sweeper, and this sweeper was very happily engaged in doing devotional service to the Lord. Every day he used to cleanse the temple very thoroughly, sincerely, and lovingly. One day he thought to himself that I'm cleaning the temple of Dwarkadish every day, and I see my Lord Dwarkadish is standing there, and every day he's standing and he's smiling. So many devotees are coming, and he's giving them darshan. He's looking at them, he's hearing their prayers, and he's hearing what is going on in their mind, and he's smiling, but he's not getting chance to take rest. So one day he goes and he expresses his desire to Dwarkadish, saying that, "Oh Lord, I was wondering if one day I could relieve you from your position, from your, from the way that you are standing here. Because I see you always, you are standing like this." So lo and behold, the Lord reciprocates and says, "Yes, why not? Let's exchange our position tomorrow. You become Dwarkadish, I'll go out and I'll take a day off." But the Lord says one condition: don't open your mouth, don't speak. So many people who come with so many different desires, so many different intentions, don't speak, just smile, just keep smiling. And the next day they swapped their position. So the sweeper who was sweeping the floor, he became Dwarkadish, and the Lord went out. What happened was, I'm still mentioning that there are three kinds of people. So there was one person who came, the first person who came. He was a very rich merchant, and he had a lot of wealth, a lot of money. So he came and he put some money in the undi, So while removing the money from his pocket, the money was there. Some money was there in the pocket, and he had a wallet. So he kept the wallet on the hundi, and he was putting the money. And he was in a hurry, so he forgot to take his wallet back. He put the money, some money in the wallet, some money in the hundi, and the wallet was kept on the hundi, and he left. So he left like that, and then the sweeper who was standing as Dwarkadish was very tempted. Foolish person, where are you going? Take your wallet and go. How can you leave? How can you be so careless? How can you be not very prudent? Take your wallet and go. Somehow he controlled himself because Dwarkadish had told him not to speak. So he controlled and he stayed like a very poor person, a mendicant. And this mendicant, the poor person, is a great devotee of the Lord. He used to earn very meager amount, very meager money, and he came and he had the beautiful darshan of the Lord, and he put some, whatever little money that he had, he put it in the hundi. That was his all earnings, but he put it, and he saw that there is a wallet there. So in his mind, he was praying to the Lord that, oh Lord, if you give me some money, or my economic condition, if it improves, I'll be engaged in your devotional service in a more sincere and advanced way. And lo and behold, he found that there is one wallet there. He thought it is the mercy of Dwarkadish. He picked up that wallet, and he was about to go. This person, the sweeper as Dwarkadish, he was again very tempted to stop him. Hey, fool, what are you doing? Why are you taking this money? Don't do that. And but again, he remembered the instruction given by Dwarkadish, so he kept quiet. So this person left the temple. Then comes the third person. So first the rich person, then the second person who was the mendicant or the beggar, and the third person, he's a sailor. So Dwarkadish, it's a port. So he was about to go for some business, for sailing, and he came and he wanted to have darshan of the Lord. So he came and he had darshan of the Lord, and he said, "Oh Lord, I'll be going now for this for the sailing. Please protect me. Please protect me from this storm. Please protect my family members. Nothing should happen to them. Oh, please, oh Lord, please take care of them." Like that he was praying. And suddenly the rich man by this time had realized that he has forgotten his wallet, and he comes to the temple, with some police. And the police and the temple and the rich man, they arrive, and they see that there is this sailor, the person who was supposed to go in the ship, he was there. And since he found that there was nobody else in the temple, only for this man, he thought this is the man who has taken the wallet, and they arrested him. So they arrested him, and they were about to take him. And now our sweeper as Dwarkadish, he is unable to control him. He just said, I must act now, otherwise there is going to be anartha. A poor innocent person is going to be put behind the bars. He'll be punished for somebody else's mistake. I must stop him. And he started speaking. Oh, devotees, oh, Haribol, or whatever. I mean, however, he started, screamed. He got the attention of all those people. He told that he is not the thief. The thief is that poor person who has taken the wallet. And when they heard this from the Lord, they released this man, the sailor, and they caught the beggar or the mendicant, and they put him behind the bars. And when it became night, the whole day passed by, and the Lord, the Dwarkadish came. Of course, the Lord, the real Lord, knows everything what's going on, but he came, and as if he doesn't know anything, he says, "So, how was the day? Did you have good time?" Then this man, the sweeper as Dwarkadish, he was very eager and excited to. Oh, I wanted to share, how I nicely, saved one situation, a crisis, and he was just eagerly waiting. So then the Lord asked him, and he explained the whole thing. That time, the Lord told him, "I had told you just to smile. Right? I had told you not to open your mouth." Then he said, "But what is wrong? What wrong did I do? I was seeing that there is something grossly wrong being enacted, was happening, and then I stopped. I did my best." Then the Lord explained, actually the rich man who had come and who had forgotten his money over there, the wallet, actually it is one way his money would have been engaged in devotional service. Even though he was a rich man, he hardly gives money for devotional service. So forgetting his wallet was good for him, because that money it is given to the Lord, and that would have been used for some service. Poor man, if he would have taken that wallet, which he did, it is good for him because he's a devotee by heart. He wants to engage it in devotional service. So the rich man's money is used in this way, but through Krishna. So that money also is purified, and this man also will be engaged in devotional service. So the sweeper understood and agreed. And then he said, but what about that sailor who was getting arrested and he was put behind the bars? What about him? The Lord said that had he gone in that ship for sailing, there was a storm and he would have died. Had he been arrested and gone to the jail, he would have been saved. Point I'm trying to say is, there are foolish people who try to say or think or believe or act as if they're always under control. They don't care about the Lord's plan, Lord's will. They think they are in control of everything. And actually we have no control. There is very little control. That is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling Ashradadhana Purusha, one needs to have faith in the words of Krishna to reform our activities, to understand our position, to experience the supreme bliss, to come out of the cycle of birth and death. I need to have that faith in the words of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Protector, the Supreme Well-Wisher. You see, when we put a nail in a wall, right, to hang a picture of the Lord, when we do that, we hit the nail with a hammer, and before we put the picture of the Lord, first we see, we shake the nail and see whether it is properly gone inside or not. If it is not gone, we don't put the Lord or the deity picture. Similarly, the Lord also sometimes makes us go through some difficult situations, sometimes some reversals, to see how strong our faith is. It is like that, a little bit of shaking. If the faith is strong, very deep, then the Lord manifests in our heart, like that picture that we are hanging. So there's understanding of this entire creation, that behind this creation there is nothing, nobody else. Nobody else. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Sudurlabha, it is a very rare thing to see, to be able to see the Lord's hand behind everything. So when one goes through this process, understands, engages in devotional service, the Lord gives intelligence, how you can come out of this temporary place of miserable existence. This is just a terrible place. So having faith in words of Krishna, having faith in words of Narada Muni, having faith in words of the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, one can achieve out one's perfection. I'll stop here and see if you have any questions. Any question? Okay. No questions, no comments. We will meet again. My only request is don't hear it in 1 year and just let it go in another year. As Bhagavatam says, it's such a rare opportunity to have this human form of life. Such a rare opportunity. Nirdeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham. Nirdeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham. Guru what is that? Sukalpam, plavam sukalpam guru karnadhara. So Nirdeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham. It is the most conducive. No other form of life, no other body is conducive for practicing devotional life or doing self-realization. Not possible in other forms of life. Nirdeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham, and it is obtained very rarely. It is not something which is easily available. Nirdeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham kalpa Plavam Sukalpam. Actually, it is a beautiful, strong boat to cross over this ocean of material existence, the existence of birth and death. It's a cycle. And this boat can help us cross over this. Plavam Sukalpam. Guru Karnadharam. Look at our great fortune. We have got a pure devotee spiritual master who's from the spiritual world. And he's the captain of this ship. We've got, we've come in touch with a pure devotee. Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam Mayanu Kulena Nabhasvataritam. More importantly, there is this favorable wind which can help the boat sail, is there in the form of the instructions of the Lord. Mayanu Kulena Nabhasvataritam, in the form of the scriptures. Krishna's instructions are available. Take advantage of this. Nataretsa Atmaha. And so if after all these facilities, if we don't cross this material ocean, this ocean of material existence, it is Atmaha. It is actually killing our own self. It's spiritual suicide. So take advantage of every single little thing which is given to us. Take advantage of this conversation between Narada Muni and Vedavyas. Take advantage of this instructions given in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Experience the real higher bliss. Material happiness is just an illusion. And for that illusion, so much of hard work, so much of this thing, and one day it all comes to an end. So I'll stop here and we'll meet again in the next class and see how wonderful this Bhagavatam unfolds and what instructions are coming. The Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Krishna.